Well, welcome to the season six extravaganza. It is the analysis show where we take a look at the preview and I pontificate about nonsense along with a little bit of factual data mixed in. So, just ran the fifth sim that I've run since our league file has come out. This one has all of the trades. And at one point, a day or so ago, everybody's manager file that posted one put in. However, I have not even looked at manager files in a day or more once all the trading nonsense continued, because it doesn't mean anything. But I think I am caught up with all trades now, except I still need to reflect the Lancaster trade with Arenado being traded for himself. I just want to make sure I've got that one locked down. That one I still need to do. But Clue submitted a list here a while back. I've got all those trades on here. Ran a sim, tinkered around with my own rotation, and ran a sim. I guess we can use this sim as a talking point. Look into some particular numbers, how players are playing, maybe talk about some of the ballparks people were in, the quality of teams that were brought over on the keeper list, what people picked up in the draft, and what's happened via trading. It's about time. Welcome in, David. Welcome in. So let's take a look at this. This was a sim I just ran. I'm also, let me just start off here saying by the schedule. So when we look at the schedule, this schedule for the 10 teams that sit over in the Naturals and the rain delay, this was modeled off of the 1964 schedule. So if anybody's interested, let me tell you who's who. In the rain delay, Manchester assumed the Los Angeles Angels schedule, Lancaster, the Chicago White Sox, St. Pete, Cleveland Indians, Washington, the Washington Senators, and Hagerstown, Kansas City. In the Naturals division, Chicago took on the New York Yankees, St. Louis took on Detroit Tigers, San Fran took on Baltimore, Amazing took on Minnesota, and Edmonton took on the Boston Red Sox. So those were the actual schedules that were 1964 American League for those teams. However, in that season, in early April, there were a lot of games rained out. So what I've tried to do is pull apart some of the latter season makeup double headers so that there's not a bunch of double headers crammed. So I'm still looking at the overall schedule to get it there. In our side of things, my side where I'm at in the global league where Moneyball and Sandlot are, this league is using the 1973 American League schedule. Um, how that worked out to be is Beantown became the Royals, Philadelphia took on the Angels, Crystal Lake took on the Twins, Degens took on the Rangers, Florence took on the A's, and Chico's took on the White Sox schedules. And in the Moneyball, Long Island took on Baltimore's schedule. Cleveland stayed with Cleveland just to make it easy for me. Lehigh took on the Red Sox schedule, Hadley Lake the Tigers, Vegas the Yankees, and T-ville the Brewers. So that's how this schedule came to be, combining some different models to get it where it at. And is it still three teams for the playoffs? It is, because now we've gone back. So you'll see there'll be one winner for money for the four divisions, and then in each league, the next team with the best record will be the wild card, meaning the winningest team in the division will get a bye, and then the other division winner will be at home against the wild card. Yes, indeed. So this was the latest sim. Let's take a look at what we're seeing as we go around here. Let's take a look at the rain delay league. And let's start off with Manchester. What do we know about Manchester? Well, let's take a look at their real stats. I can tell you that they've got a holdover here in Falkenberg. I see a David Wells that I think MV, like usual, is going to have way too much faith in who he's bringing on. Um, interested to see how he does in this replay. We have Trevor Bauer, who has kind of a down year after a really good one. DeGrom, who is a big staple of this team in there. Billy Koch, Cook, whatever we're going to say. I don't really know what to make of this team here. One interesting thing, let's take a look before we start digging into the teams. Reports on the league salaries, team salaries. So this is always a good, I think, starting point here to say who's got the best salaries. Well, Lehigh or St. Louis has beaten me by 14 million. So overall, St. Louis has what you'd consider the highest talent for this season on their league file. Now, guaranteed, some of those may be people that are in the bullpen, bench strength, who knows? So it can be misleading. But for me, if we go back and look at any of our past seasons and how it finished, I don't think we'll find any teams that made the playoffs that weren't in the top half of the salary report at the time the playoffs started. So you may see teams that come into the keeper list, and I know I posted it in our league when we had the 15-person keeper, and I said, hey, anybody that's got low on that's going to have to do well in the draft. Then if you look at after they've done the 30-man rosters before trading starts, go and take a look at how they came out of their keepers and their draft. And odds are if they're in the bottom half of that, they've got some hustle and work to do because the only way they're going to compete is to hit the trading, rev up the old ice cream truck and head out there because I just don't see any evidence in our league where somebody that's like in the bottom third of the salary report does well. I mean, I don't see any evidence. Now, if they make themselves better by getting better players, then you're going to see their salary go up, and I think there is a correlation there. But if we go around and look at like in this sim that I just did, let's see, what do we got here? Move this out of the way. Chico's, they did well along with Crystal Lake. You can see Chico's, Crystal Lake are what? Top 8. Manchester, Hagerstown. Hagerstown's third. Manchester is ninth. St. Louis and San Fran. St. Louis is the top. Here is an interesting one. San Fran's a little bit below average, right? But they're still above the mean. Lehigh and T-ville. Lehigh, I'm up there second. T-ville's up there in the top 10. So again, it can be a little misleading, but I don't know if we get a winning team that has a salary that's below the league average. It'd be interesting to see if we went back and looked at the league average. Has there been any team that's done well or gone into the playoffs that's had a payroll that's below that average? I don't think there has been, but I may dig a little deeper for proof. So if you've got a salary down here, I think it's going to be hard pressed this season unless you do something to change it. So if you're in the bottom third of that, nice report that anybody can look at. Rosters. So let's take a look. Rain delay, Manchester. What do we see here? Let's go catcher by catcher here. Catcher, Mitch Molesky that just came over that can field. Looks like he has some decent an upgrade in the field there for MV. First base. He's loaded. Great bats here. Votto, Klazuski, and Delgado. I don't know how he's going to manage them all and get them into DH and all that, but 3 really good left-handed bats. I almost acquired one in a trade that fell through, but that's a whole nother story. Joe Morgan's there. Here's Ken Boyer. They locked down a great draft pick there for the future, and he's sticking with Troy Tulowitzki, Gold Glover. Sherry McGee, it's been on this team for a long time. I think Sherry McGee's one of the most underrated guys, and he does really well out of dead ball in our league, and he has a really good defense along with it. Dependable year after year left fielder. Center field, he loves Ed Roush. He acquired in a 3-for-1 trade with David. He sent Musial away and got Kaline in that deal. And Reggie Smith. I don't really know how this plays out. We'll see, but I know he loves Ed Roush. He's got a big 352 average. I think Roush actually does well for Manchester. Right field, Mondesi's there. I don't know. I mean, it's a competitive team. I think he's got pitchers here that if we click on them, what do we see here? Falkenberg, decent year. Wells, Jimenez. I don't know how he does this year. He had a good one last year. DeGrom's the cream of the crop. Eddie Seacott for future. This Ray Collins has a really big year, so be interested to see how he does in the replay. Um, Charlie E. Smith here, Charlie Hall, Hoyt Wilhelm, Billy Coat. I don't know. Billy Coat, great ERA plus here. Hoyt Wilhelm too. I don't know. How will Manchester do? I think they're going to compete. I really think this might be the closest division that has as many teams that can win. 5 sims I've done, so I don't know. Hagerstown's right there. Washington's got a winning team this year. Lancaster's, I think I did a sim or two the other day where they were up there, compete with Manchester. So I don't know what secret sauce Night Raven might have, but here we go. Hagerstown, Fergie Jenkins. They've got some pitching here, right? Necro. I don't. This may be an area of opportunity for Hagerstown because we know about their bats. Roger Maris is there. Big pickup for him. This is 62, I believe. So he's going to have 61 season for Maris next year. Mickey Mantle has an excellent season this year. Hank Aaron's there. Dale Murphy, Hannes Wagner. I mean, Fernando Tatis, Edgar Renteria, Mark McGuire got added. I mean, this is just a powerful hitting team. And if we look around, here's a 10 catcher, 10 second, two tens at third, a 9 at short, left is an 8, center a 10, right field a 10. Don't sleep on Hagerstown's fielding ability, too. So, no doubt why both of them are up here. Washington, Jamie is taking care of some of the flood stuff, and this one's on standby for a bit, but he's got great pitchers here, right? He's got Waddell, Coombs, Marichal, Freddie Fitzsimmons. So he's got the building of a really competitive team here, and it looks like they stand a chance to compete in this division. So we'll take a look at some of the league leaders to see if any of them pop up here. Mookie Betts, a great player here as well. Lancaster, what do they got going on? Well, they moved into Forbes Field, if people didn't read that information. They've got some old timers, Happy and Max, out there in the outfield, right? They get, how will that turn? The Wayner brothers are together. Gavi Kravitz on that team. So nothing dazzling in the field and the outfield besides the Happy Felsch Max Carey crew. Pie Trainer is picked up as a future project at third. We look at catcher. Joe Mauer is a good bat. Hal Chase is there with all his shenanigans. DJ LeMahieu. Arenado, who again was traded for himself, so I need to reflect that. That'll always be fun. And Brooks Robinson, shortstops, Joe Sewell, Max Carey, and Felsch. So we'll see how that plays out. His pitching, I think it's excellent. Russ Ford was a great pickup. In fact, he drafted that team right in front of me. I really like the idea of getting Russ Ford. Cy Blanton, another great. Uh, in this replay I did, excuse me, Russ Ford really underperformed in the replay. I don't know why. Maybe it's an anomaly, maybe it's not. Bucky Walters, who knows? We'll see. St. Pete, just acquired in trade, Catfish Hunter, a great pitcher for them. Probably will be the cream of the crop here. Barry Zito has a really good stat year, but he only played half time. Dennis Leonard, yeah, we'll see. 79. He always had a year or two that were decent in there, but a guy that can eat up innings. Tim Hudson is there. Not a lot of premier season people, except now they've added Catfish Hunter here in 1973. The Mad Hungarian in the bullpen. And let's take a look at position by position. Del Crandall, Gold Glover, Ernie Lombardi with a big bat this year. First baseman Giambi, 43 home run season. It's got Will Clark Frank White, the only second baseman. And it looks like Frank White only played 127 games, so might be a little bit of a hole there for Joe Murdy's team. No backup second baseman. Joey Bats at third. You got Miguel Tejada, Tilly Walker, who um, isn't going to play a lot. Bobby Veach, Bumbry, Otis. Looking at this, I think this team's got some room to grow. And just looking at the one sim here, yeah, St. Pete, they got some work to do here. The Naturals division, and you see here, St. Louis wins this one. I think this one comes down to these two teams from what I've seen and heard from others in the league that St. Louis typically comes out ahead with San Francisco pretty close. And why is that? Well, this is the highest salary in the FOD season 6. Let's take a look at what they got. Catcher, Mike Piazza. First base, Pujols. I'm trying to see if uh, Bill Dickey. I guess Bill Dickey moved their way out of here. I don't know where it went. Thought Bill Dickey at one point was on the St. Louis team, but who knows where everybody is now? It's a matrix to figure out. It's crazy. Eddie Collins, premier second baseman for years. Troy Glaus, great pickup this season, 47 home runs, and Brett. That's a great platoon situation. Shortstop, Arky Vaughn, great shortstop during his era. And here's a jewel sitting there. Will this guy remain on the team in a DH role, Garcia Parra, or will this be a trade opportunity to another team? Time will tell. See if Clue decides to shop him. Left field, Darren Erstad, a 9 in this one great season. Center field, he's got Mike Trout and Snyder. Ken Griffey Jr. for the future. And let's take a look at right field. What a team here, as Stan Musial is on this team along with Clemente and Wright. So a lot of DH opportunity here for St. Louis. No wonder they're a good team. And if we look at pitching, primo pitching, Red Faber, picked up via trade, I believe. Kevin Brown, we worked at Kevin Brown for Cole trade. Kevin Brown's up there, locking down that rotation. Kershaw and Mathewson with huge seasons this year. So I think in most replays, we're seeing both those names pop up on the pitching charts pretty frequently. Oh, there's the wrong Joe Sambito photo. I guess I had to go over there and update that. Joe Sambito. Oh, I'll have to do that differently. I'll figure something out. Getting the pictures cleaned up. I probably got a few corrections to make to get those out. Let's take a look at San Francisco. This is the defending champion, Nooch. What kind of batters does he have? Well, is he as good as last year? I don't know. Gary Carter is. Good season. First base, Mo Vaughn's there. Todd Helton joins the team along with Dick Allen, who had a great season last year. Second base, Cano. We know that name. Third base is a little bit different this team because A-Rod was locking down third, but going backwards. Now he's moving on to shortstop position. So Alex Rodriguez is now the shortstop. Traded Jeter away. Left field. Is that going to be Larry Walker? Is it going to be Dave Kingman? Is it going to be Ted Williams? Who knows? Who's going to DH? Who's going to play? Center field, Tris Speaker, a great one. And in right field, who fills the other side out? Is it Chuck Klein? Is it Larry Walker? Is it Mike Vail? Who knows? Some options here. How about the pitching this year? They had great pitching last year. Wilbert Wood has one of the great seasons this year, a 180 ERA plus. Smokey Joe Wood, Steve Clemens. Grove doesn't have the same season he did last year, but a couple good relievers here. This is still a team to be reckoned with. Yeah, Mike, as Mike said, yeah, because it's just it's very true. Why do a preview show now? Because I got time and I have a lot of thoughts on my mind. Um, Edmonton. What do we got going on here? Let's look at batters. Mickey Cochran. Great pickup here with that Tiger team. Art Wilson, another guy we remember in the league. I don't know if he'll be kept on this team to the Federal League years. We have Hank Greenberg, Killebrew, Merkel, McCovey, Mattingly. There's depth at first base here. All of them great hitters. Second base, Charlie Gehringer, the mechanical man, a Michigan guy. I love Charlie Gehringer. He's locked in at second base for years to come. Third base, pretty good. Got Jose Ramirez and Tommy Leach. Phil Rizzuto and Lindor, a couple options there. Uh, Willie Wilson's back in the league. He's been useful for many teams in the past. Center field, Bernie Williams, who's made his way around a few teams in the early season. And in right field, who will play that? Is it Clark, Pete Fox? Who do we know? I don't know. We'll find out. Noodles Hahn, lefty with a good ERA plus. Tommy Bridges, good picker. Deacon Philippe, Musina. So this has the core of a good pitching staff that may get better in years to come. Think it may be tough for Edmonton to compete with these two teams. The amazing Kitsunes. Let's see what we got here. Position by position. Let me go to this. Sherm Lawler, Gold Glove catcher. Posada's on that team too. First baseman Mize, Akins, Jorge can play. So not much in the fielding way here, but Johnny Mize should be a big bat. Billy Herman at second base is on the team. Surprised nobody's come in trying to steal Herman away yet, but hey, trading's still going on. Mike Schmidt, Gold Glover, locks it out. How about Pablo Sandoval, the Kung Fu Panda out there with a 9? Shortstop, Cal Ripken. Big names on this team. Left field, Don Baylor, Berkman. Who's going to play left? Because I think McCutcheon's the center fielder at 9. And if we go to right field, Paul O'Neill for a great pickup. So let's look at the pitchers. How did they fare in this replay? Let's take a look. Kurt Schilling. Everybody knows Kurt Schilling. A little above average, even in the ERA plus here. 15 wins. Dave Frost. All right. Winningest pitcher on the team, early win, a guy that was dealt in a trade that between Yoko and I, sending Lincecum to the Lizards, and a Hall of Famer over to the Kitsunes. And look at that, leading the team with wins. Matt Cain, another good pitcher on this team. Andy Messersmith came over, but doing all right. Winning record for him, right? Dave Frost, of all people. Look at this little jewel he picked up. Dave Frost, 16 and 10. Frank Tanana's got a little bit of life left if you take him back in one direction. So looks like the amazing team has some winning records here with the pitchers. How do they do so poorly? Interesting in that tough division how they end up 20 some odd games below 500. Yeah, yeah, Mike. Chicago. Look at these guys. Brutally honest. Gary Maddox, the Secretary of Defense, great player here. Good center fielder. Let's go position by position. Gabby Hartnett, good catcher, 344 average. That should help Chicago. First base, Keith Hernandez, a guy that doesn't get a lot of respect, but he's usually good on base. Look, almost 400 on base. Gold Glover. Second base, Lajoie in a partial season, splitting time with Randolph. Could be a good mix. Third base, Stan Hack, great on base. Caminiti, a guy for me that was on my team I loved, but always slightly underperformed for me. Now we back in the league with a lot of years if Chicago keeps him. Shortstop, Billy Jurgis. And PP, our favorite guy, PP. Um, yeah, there they are. Left field, Oscar Gamble. I'd say, and Manny Ramirez is on this team, so that's interesting. Gary Maddox in center. Right field, what do we see? Right field, we've got, well, Demery, Freddie Lindstrom. I don't know. I don't know if this is the quality. Well, Mel Lott's on the team. Not great in the field, but that is going to be a big bat. So it's interesting. I don't, you've got a lot of outfielders that are going to have to play that you probably would want to DH, David. That may be a problem other than Maddox and what he can do in the field. These are guys that you'd want to DH, but you've got to play two of them in the out corner outfield spot. So, but they've got good bats. So it's interesting to know, why does this team perform so badly? Let's take a look at their pitching. And this is probably the answer. We got J.R. Richard. He may be top two. Yeah, look, he matched his numbers in the replay. That's a good sign. Vern Law is a good pitcher. Ooh, he didn't match up. But again, this is just one sim. Your mileage may vary. David Price, who I've never thought, oh, in the replay, a 9.99 ERA plus, he got into one game, pitched 7 innings, must have done well. So, you know, another disclaimer, before everybody's like, where's my manager file? I loaded in manager files a day or two ago if people had them. Other than that, I don't care about anybody's manager file while the trading's going on. So when we have a full blown file, what I have done is, for teams that didn't submit a manager file, I ran a player quality uh, computer file, so everybody is at least covered with player quality based on what the computer thinks. Um, I would say, David, if you want an honest opinion, this pitching staff is much weaker than the batters you put out. That might be why you're struggling. So, is what it is. Let's go over to the Sandlot division. Let's take a look at Chico's, who I think I was hoping everybody would value Clyde Milan and what he brings to a team, and not let Chico's move Walter Johnson from the 20s down to 1910. But sadly enough, in my league, I'm going to have to face a very tough pitcher for many years now. Catchers, Johnny Bench. No way he would budge. I've tried to trade and get Johnny Bench. It's not, nothing doing. Got a great catcher. First base, I don't know. Norm Cash, David Ortiz are here. Second base, interestingly enough, Jeff Kent comes in with 33 homers and hit 19 in the replay, but that's his second baseman with Germany Schaefer, maybe a better glove. Bill Bradley, an old time third baseman. At short, an old time shortstop in McBride. So who's starting? Is it McBride? Is it Robin Yount? Do we even know? Oh, they're starting Robin Yount. So never mind. So Robin Yount, another great one. So left field, we're seeing these names. Elmer Flick, who probably starts in right. Joe Jackson, probably a left fielder here. Milan in center. Don't sleep on Milan. And right fielder Elmer Flick. So a lot of old time players and batters on this team. And even Goose Goslin, who knows if he gets in here playing left. I see his name up here. So if we look at Chico's, I've seen them do very well in the replays, along with Crystal Lake, who we'll talk about. But those seem to be the two teams that are always up there. Maybe I've seen Chico's there 3 or 4 of the 5 I've run. Crystal Lake, time to get scared. This team is loaded with bats. Fudge Rodriguez, premier, both batting and fielding. First baseman, Wally Joyner provides a defensive replacement. Jimmy Fox only a 3, but this is a powerful bat right here. Lou Whitaker, a Gold Glove season, batting over 300 along. And you got Rod Carew there for just good measure. And at shortstop, let's pop over there, his buddy Alan Trammell with a 319, 14 homer season. So nice mix. Not the greatest fielding at third, but you got 2 big bats there. You've got a great hitter in Boggs and a big OPS guy in Cabrera. Left field, you got Barry Bonds. This team finally has a center fielder in Andrew Jones that can hit with power and average and has great fielding. And in right field, who's it going to be? Tony Oliva, possibly? Kenny Singleton? A couple of good hitters they could platoon with. So it'll be interesting to see what this team does, but it's very solid with the bats. Pitching, Nolan Ryan, Flanagan with a really good year here, although in the sim it didn't look like it panned out. But we don't know about Park, all that era adjustment. One of the best pickups in the draft with the first pick was the Braves, and Greg Maddux joins the team. Greg Maddux, if we click on him to take a look at it, he exceeded his expected ERA plus by 2. So I think he's going to translate well. Bob Gibson has not yet, but we do still have the next 2 years. This is 66 Bob Gibson. We are going to see 2 great years out of Gibson in 67, 68. So definitely a competitive team, always on the winning side of things. What's the Icemen bring? They were competitive last year, I think taking second in their division. They've got that premier year out of Vida Blue. Roy Halladay's there. Chris Sale, Fingers, Monge. I don't know if this has the depth of starters to compete, but definitely Halladay and Blue look like they've got the numbers to be premier. Let's take a look at the bats. Thurman Munson, great catcher. Thornton. I don't know about first base here. It looks like Ryan Howard with the big bat might have to lock first down. As you can see, Cleveland was one of their picks. Chase Utley, great second baseman, Gold Glover. Third base, I don't know. You got 3 guys to make a good one. I don't know. How good is this going to turn out to be, whether no matter which one of the 3 you start? George Davis at shortstop. Joe Rudy, third baseman. We got Victorino, Bobby Bonds, the greatest of all time, Ricky Henderson. Harry Heilman's on the team that has a great bat, but never gives you much in the field. And we got Reggie, Mr. October, over there. So there are a lot of big names out here, but just I don't know what combo the Icemen are going to do to kind of figure out their platoons. Um, and Buckshot is saying in his replay, Johnson had over 600 strikeouts. Let's take a look at what Johnson did. Look at this staff. I might have missed it. In the replay, 27 and 19. I don't think he's ever going to hit the 222, but this guy ruled and strikes out 527 batters. This guy is going to be a menace in the league. He also has Tom Seaver in a great year. He also has Chief Bender in a great year. So this isn't a team to be messed with. Degens, Molina. It seems like this guy is always a great player for him. First baseman, he picked up Lou Gehrig with that trade with T-ville that both teams made the playoffs. So let's see how this plays out. This might be one of the weakest seasons for Gehrig of the next few, but look, still great numbers. Second base, Hornsby. Due to a repeat at an error, will be slow rolling his way forward, but we'll expect him another great season. Ty Cobb's great. Third baseman, is Euclid the third baseman? Let's see. Derek Jeter. Now there's the shortstop of the future here. For a Red Sox fan, who knew Derek Jeter would be locking that down, but he is. Left field here, Pete Rose, Enos Slaughter. There's opportunity here to move some of these players around. Ellsbury, who can play center. Bosmic, Enos Slaughter, Rose, Earl Averill. So there's some opportunity here with these bats to figure out who's going to play and where. Pitching. This was a known weakness going in, but via trade, Sandy Koufax has made his way over here, and in their number 1 draft pick with the 79 Yankees, Tommy John and Ron Guidry joined this team, along with Mel Harder. who came in. So they did a great job. Same thing here with Lon Warnicki, picking up some pitchers that really helped their team out. Beantown. I don't know if Beantown has what it takes to get into the playoffs. They were there 2 years in a row. This was the team that just pounded the ball and surprised everybody. I don't know. I'm not seeing it in the replays. Charles Johnson brings a Gold Glove type, close to Gold Glove presence behind the plate. Frank Thomas joins Prince Fielder, a great platoon possibility there. Bobby Avila has been the main second baseman, but now Tony Lazzari comes in to compete. Al Rosen's been the premier third baseman, but now Red Rolf's there. So will we see the same names we've come to know in two postseasons lock down the starting positions? Trevor Story, he's been that shortstop, Gold Glover. Left field, we know about Ken Williams, another great year for him with power. Center fielder, Doby's there. And in right field, there's that Buck Freeman from last year. So a new addition to this team is the bat of Maglio Ordonez, George Selkirk. So we'll see how that plays out. Beantown's pitching. Hippo Vaughn, what did he do? He struck out 324 in this replay. Dolph Luke, who helped him down the playoff stretch last year, doesn't have as good of a year this year. Mike Garcia, Lefty Gomez joins the team. So I don't know if the pitching is as good. I don't think it is as it has been in the past two seasons. So this may cause Beantown some problems. Florence. Aaron. What did Aaron do? Well, let's see what Aaron did. He landed Ichiro Suzuki in a trade. He's got Ichiro Suzuki over there on this team, but let's go position by position. Bob Boone, his catcher. Freddie Freeman, who he's very fond of. That's a great first baseman he has here. Big doggy Tony Perez backing him up there. He's got Jim Thome as well. Ryan Sandberg, the only second baseman on the team. It's Ryan or die right here. Third baseman. He somebody got traded away here and left him Bobby Bonilla. So Bobby Bonilla will be the third baseman probably starting, or maybe that's Tony Perez. Who knows? Shortstop, Elvis Andrus. Vizquel is a backup. Ichiro can play all the positions, but who's going to go into left? Probably Josh Hamilton. Center, will it be Kenny Lofton? Maybe. Right field, you got Suzuki and Bake McBride, and Dwight Evans now adds a little bit of pop to the bat. So there's some options there in right field for Florence. Pitching, this might be why this team in the sim here is near the bottom half. Joe Niekro, 21 game winner, joins the team. And in fact, it's interesting. They don't even have this guy in the rotation. So who knows what'll happen with that. Chuck Finley's there, Cliff Lee, Eddie Lopat, Jose Rijo, not the great year. He's got Tug McGraw. He's got some good relievers here, but how will this equate to wins? We don't know. I also realize there's a couple pitchers I still need to do. I don't know. Lack of pitching may be why they're at the bottom. Probably is. Moneyball. Lehigh Lizards, a team I'm pretty fond of, a team I'm paying attention to this year. Made a few trades early on, swapped a couple of pitchers, Garrett Cole, who I got, for Kevin Brown. Looks like he's doing pretty well here. Cy Young, who I'm keeping on. He's been many trade talks, and people had a chance to get him, turned me down, and now I'm stuck with him. And I think I like him. Even for this year, I'm finding he will pretty much perform as expected because he's a good match in my ballpark, which is Comerica. Sam Jones, Toothpick Sam, equates well to my park as well. Lincecum isn't going to perform as well, but it's kind of filling in for a year or two. Hill traded him for early win, and interested to see how that plays out. because early win was going to be part of my long-term plans, but plans changed. Uh, Howie Kamnitz, he's here for next year. I'm surprised he even got into one game this year. He has a good season. Lefty the field, same thing. Serviceable arm, used in the right positions and emergencies. Looked like he did okay. I'm happy with that. Kirby White, complete trash, will be thrown in the trash. Stu Miller, this guy is really, really good in his swingman. Helps me out. Made a trade for Eric Davis for Darren O'Day, which gives me a closer. Um, Not sure how much I need. Babe Adams, a little bit above average year this year and next, so he'll be part of my team, barring a trade. So team looks like it's good. Three Finger Brown, who I've had for years, he wins 18 here in the replay. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So I feel like my pitching staff's good. I've got the team charted out. I like where they're at. Batters. Campanella made a big trade with Klaczewski last year to get him because I wanted to lock down a keeper catcher for a while. First base, Bagwell and Cepeda. They're doing just fine. Biggio is fine. Morandini's a backup. Third base, I drafted who I wanted. I got Scott Rowland. He's going to be my third baseman for the future. Is what it is. I got Jimmy Rollins in case somebody would like a. This is Rollins' rookie year. If you'd like Rollins for his whole career or anything, hit me up because he's just sitting here. I've got Hanley, Ramirez, and Ozzie that'll probably both be keepers next year, so I'm not sure Jimmy Rollins has any value to me. Left field, Dave Winfield. I'm loving it. There'll be a couple of years from now he moves to right, but for right now, I got Winfield who has a 9-arm 10 in left, and he has a little bit better, more pop in the bat this year. Willie Mays, the mainstay of this team. I've had him since the origin of the team. Moved him to a lower year, and I'm taking him back now where I was taking him forward. And in right field, I picked up a couple guys in the draft this year, Abreu and Chief Wilson, who I can have for the future. And then there's JD Martinez, who's a great bat, who basically is useless to me next year as he goes into 2020. So happy with the bats. I could use another left-handed bat to DH and play first, but I seem to be doing fine in the replays, so I don't need it. It'd be a nice to have, so I don't really feel compelled to give anything up for it. T-ville, this is a team that went to the um, World Series last year and lost 4 games to 2 to Nooch. What do they have coming back? Well, if we look at it, um, Jason Kendall was their main catcher, great hitter, but now he's added a defensive upgrade there. Garvey joins a team where Frank Chance, we know, can be an era adjusted powerful bat. Also added Richie Sexson. Alomar, a 10. Davey Lopes in backup. So he's done a lot of good work there to get that figured out. Third base, Ron Santo, and he added Say. So it looks to me like T-ville has already added some quality backups to their same starters they had last year. Ernie Banks is the shortstop. Yaz is in left field. Billy Williams can play it. So can Lou Brock. Will Lou Brock finally get playing time? I don't know. Let's see. A lot of good options here. Center field. Who's going to play center? We saw Babe Ruth play a little bit last year in certain lineups. Marquise Grissom is there. Right field, several options too. Jeremy Burnitz is there. So who's going to play center and right, and how Carlos decides to manipulate that's going to be fun to watch because I think there's some really interesting things he can do. And I guess when I thought I'm done with the photo pack, just hang on. There's probably about 10 more photos I need to go through and rectify. Pitching. This guy was a big pickup last year. He's even better this year. 209 ERA plus. Although in the replay, didn't translate much here, but it's just one replay. He picked up, he's got Scherzer that's been on that team. Hooten and Sutton come in the draft. Addy Joss he traded for will be there again. This guy might be the little jewel out there in Billy Pierce. Nice pickup here. So what do we see? I see a team that is here in this replay. I don't know if they're as good as last year, but they're still pretty damn good. I don't know if the pitching lines up for them, but it looks like they have their same position players and they got deeper. So I think this is going to be a team that competes. You can see here they're 20 games over 500. Long Island. This is a computer run team because Legends is pulled out. However, let's see what they got. They did great in the draft. Johnny Kling now is there with Buster Posey, first base. Teixeira and Eddie Murray. Second base, Bobby Grich comes in with a great season. Paul Molitor comes in. Third base, Steinfeld. If anybody remembers, he was part of the Manchester playoff run. He now joins this team. Shortstop, Joe Tinker. Looks like Molitor will back him up, but Tinker from the 1910 Cubs is there. And in left field, who do we see? We got Bucklefoot Al Simmons, 351 season. You got Jimmy Sheckard, Albert Bell. Center field, Fred Lynn, Willie McGee, Gorman Thomas with a little bit of power can play center. Another great pickup here was Sixto Lezcano, which is a 321 hitter with a gold glove in right. So this is a quality team. Let's look at their pitching. I think it's one of the best staffs top to bottom. There isn't anybody on this staff that can't contribute. I mean, if we look at the quality they've got here, I mean, Carlton has this off year. What is this, 73? Other than Carlton, he's loaded. Palmer, Sabathia, Pettit. This is a great pickup from the 1910 Cubs, a 168 ERA plus King Cole that you'll see translates well, and depending on playing time, will probably show up on the leaderboard. Billy Wagner, premier reliever. Smoltz in one of his best reliever years, and a great season from Castro. Pedro. This is probably top to bottom one of the best pitching staffs. Vegas. What has Vegas got coming in that looks similar? Let's see. Catcher. Veritek just added. Simmons was there in the draft last year. They've added Tony Eusebio. I think Veritek just came over in the trade's a good addition. I don't know arm wise what this does. Forearm. Simmons is a six arm. I thought Simmons actually do pretty good defensively last year. First base, Cecil Cooper. He's made his way over here. Frank Robinson can play some, but no doubt Cooper's going to own that position. Second base, this is a little shocking as I look at this. I think Zobrist plays four position. He usually plays about eight. He's a great guy to have on there, but I doubt this will be the second baseman that the season starts with for Vegas, unless there's something I don't know. Um, Third base, Adrian Beltre. I think he just came over in a trade from somewhere. Uh, yeah, this would be a full-time good third baseman. What do you do here? Yeah, 102 OPS. I don't know how he'll translate, but he's got power, good fielder. Shortstop, Louis Aparicio is there. Actually, not a bad average for Louis Aparicio for one of his seasons. But in our replay, he provides 41 OPS plus. That's like a paper mache with the bat, but the guy's gold glove. How many runs does he save in the field? 44. So there you go. Left field, what do we got? Mm, Robinson, he could go left or right on this. What's Robinson's? This is a good year for him. 66. His 202 translates to 118. I don't know why. If it's park era adjustment, I don't know what's going on here, but that seems low in this replay. But options. So Cedeno, he's a center fielder, but you can move him over there. Ellis Valentine at right. So is Cedeno going to be the full-time center fielder? I don't know if this is full-time material. Pretty good. 131 OPS plus. Actually translates pretty good in this replay. Right field. Ellis Valentine. He usually has a gun, doesn't he? Oh yeah, he's a 10. He's the rifleman when it comes to throwing out runners. And I don't know if he's great, but this looks like he platoon part of the time. I don't know what's going on with that. Tim Raines in left, but will Raines get any playing time? I don't know. Where do you put Robinson? Do you DH him? Uh, who knows? I have no answer here for this, but Reigns is on that team. I think he was a mainstay last year, was an on base machine. They've added Moises Alou, Vegas has. This is a really good season, but where do you use him? How do you use him? I don't know. Oh, let me see how he translates OPS plus. I don't know. It's a 2000 season, I think. He should have a lot of good seasons at left field, I believe. Pitching. Oh, Larry Parrish is at third base. I don't know if he gets to play over Beltry. What does he look like? Yeah, not enough sample size. Pitchers. Um, McGinnity, I think this is his better year than even last year, if I remember right, researching him for last year's draft. But he's pitching a lot of innings, but he's turning in a 104 ERA plus. I don't know. Is that an anomaly? Does he translate well? Robin Roberts is an interesting one. There's another one that's maybe underperforming the numbers from the 50s. Bob Lemon comes over, I think, in a trade again. I think he might have been on the Stars at one point. Um, Lever, let's look at Levers in the rotation. Underperforming ERA plus. So I don't know. There's some good quality pitchers here. It's just a matter of how do they translate into our league era and ballpark. Raw numbers, they look. Roberts looks decent, and McGinnity looks really good. So how does that translate? Vegas always has a plethora of um, relievers, and if we look at them, Rudy May, look at this. Now he only pitched 41 innings, but look at this, outperforming his ERA plus. Jeff Nelson outperforming, small sample size. Rich Garces outperforming. So the relievers look like they'll pretty much live up to the hype or outperform, but I don't think the starting pitching is translating well. So that is what it is. Um, Cleveland, Todd B picked up a team I really looked at, which is when you need a right fielder. Dave Parker's on this team. I think he made a really good pick here. He's got Ed Ott backing up Todd Hundley. That'll be interesting. At least it's a platoon situation. First base, Bill Terry. He's got a first baseman for the future, Galarraga. He's got good options here in depth. Frankie Frisch, great second baseman that in certain seasons he'll also play short and third. Davey Johnson, Phil Garner joined that. Third base, Vinny Castilla. Uh, Shortstop, Travis Jackson and Barry Larkins. There's some quality there. Left field, I don't know. Jim Rice is there, Bichette, Colavito, because I think when we look at center, you got Omar Moreno and Hack Wilson that can play it. Some good options, different style of players. Right field, you got Dave Parker, who's going to have a gun of an arm too. A 10-10, great right fielder to pick up. How did his numbers translate? Ooh, they didn't translate well, oddly enough. It's interesting to see. Moreno either. Pitching. Blyleven, nice pickup, right? Was let go. Candelaria. I don't know. Ed Walsh is here's two premier guys, Ed Walsh and Doc White. I know other people wish they were available with those Chicago pick, but I think that's the core of this team. I think Blyleven and Candelaria help it out a little bit, but I just don't know if they have the depth. This is probably the quality depth here that's going to hurt them a little bit. So got some guys that can relieve, but uh, Walsh and Doc White can't go every day, so this may be a little tough. Bibby is kind of a swing man this year, right? Oh yeah, he's got a few games he can relieve. Interesting. Um, Hadley Lake, the last team. Let's take a look at Will's team. He's running for office. Good luck, Will, um, on that. Dizzy Dean and Paul Dean, both on the same staff. Dizzy, he performs above average with what we're shooting for. Paul Dean a little below. I don't know if there's future years that'll help out. Red Ruffing's probably the premier one here. Carl Hubble, who is really underperforming what he's expected to do. Granke's here. underperforming. So I don't know if this is an era thing or lack of run support or whatever. Batters, we'll probably see a lot of castaways on Hadley Lake, people that we've seen on other teams. Bill Dickey is sitting here. First baseman, he now has Clay Bellinger, a guy that can play every position and hit horribly. So, and hit even worse. And Clay Bellinger locking down a 17 OPS plus in the replay, like a cancer that he needs to be removed. Second base, Altuve is there, right? Uh, Third base, Evan Longoria over on this team. That's a good player right here. How's Longoria pan out? Ooh, Longoria's almost made his thing. If Longoria starts doing good for Hadley Lake, look out. He'll probably be lured away. Um, Shortstop Rogel, nice guy, but I don't know how he's not going to hit great. His fielding puts him at a, ooh, he's not even saving runs. This is, if I'm Will, I'm like, dude, you need to get a shortstop. How's Joe Cronin look at short? Well, when he's played it, he's minus 35. Horrible with the glove. I don't know. I don't know if you got the right shortstops for this team. Uh, I don't know. Is Matt Holliday playing left? Ooh, really underperforming with the bat. Andre Dawson in center. What's he doing? Underperforming. Everybody we've got on this Hadley Lake team is underperforming what we would expect by far. And here's Joe DiMaggio, other than Joe DiMaggio. In a small sample size, I think if he figures out his lineup, gets Joe DiMaggio in there, he can do some great things. But Ripper Collins, oh, there's your guy. There's look at Will, if you're listening to me, the dude that's locked down for you and living up to the reputation is Ripper Collins. So be on the lookout for uh, suitors coming calling for Rip Collins. Ripper. They'll be coming. Um, and maybe it's me coming. Let's take a look at left field here. Medwick, who I traded him many times ago. Medwick's okay. He's 108 OPS on there. I know you like him. Chipper Jones, 115. Augie Galan, who is extremely horrible at 30, who I think you just acquired. That'll probably prove to be small sample size. Maybe you play more and you see him underperform more. I don't know. Will, but I think give me a call, Will. You can always reach me. I think you need to hire a new consigliere because your team is suffering. Pepper Martin, let's see what he can do. Horrible on the replay. I don't know what's going on here. So I don't know if it's the Sportsman Park. Oh no, they're in Turner Field. I don't know what's going on here, but only Ripper Collins and DiMaggio seem to be living up to their potential. Yeah, Holiday way below. Um, Bill Dickey, what did he do? Yep, he's even below. Beware the foist upon you. Reach out. We'll be in touch, Will. I'm going to help you out. I got your best interest at mind. So that's it. That's all the teams right here. That's one replay. Is it a fluke? Hell, I don't know. I've got time to run one. Let's reset them, run them. Let's rerun it. Let's set. Let's take care of Will here and see what happens. Will's got these new people. We actually need this. Manager, I think it's the second one. Let's run him a couple reassessment here. It did something. Let's do that. Let's see if it will it take player quality. Reset them. It still said, look at this player quality, and it still says, screw you. We're not starting Joe DiMaggio of all things. So yeah, whatever. Figure out what you need to do, but I'm not sure DiMaggio has ever actually helped any other team. He seems to be foisted onto others, except when he was with Clue. Let's run another one here and see. Um, see what we get. Got a few more minutes before I have to run and do some other stuff. Let's see how we can zip through, how long it takes me to zip through a sim. I'm anxious. I'm going to time it. So 4:31 my time. How fast can I get through a sim? Again, I know turn in your manager files. There's definitely some improvement, tweaking, playing stuff that the computer's doing that may not make sense and probably won't to you all. But I will be hard pressed. It makes me want to dig deep and take a look at what is the lowest salary position for a team that's made the postseason at the time they made it. And it'd be interesting to take a peek at the salary report after the 30 mans were done, and then compare it to when we start the season and see who via trading has increased or decreased their overall value. And I think I posted that, so we have that to go back and look at. In fact, let me take a peek. 30 man rosters. Oh yeah, posted the salary report so we can take a look at what teams had there, and then when they start the season, and that will tell you the dollar amount in upgrade or degrade during this crazy season, we call it the crazy season of trading. Oh, as we come into May, what do we got? Vegas out in the lead. We got Chico's, always see them. San Francisco, St. Louis, Manchester, Hagerstown. Take a look at our leaders over here when it comes to see bat. We can watch batting and pitching. Keep my eye out for some double headers. There will be some on here. We all have them. But if there's any scrunched together, like within a few days of each other, as Bernie's pointed out, let me know and I can kind of unscrunch them back to the original dates. I have a system where it's pretty easy to do. I pull up an Excel sheet, make the change, delete our schedule, and reload it. I can do it in a matter of minutes now. Just like playing the slot machines. Who will win in the live broadcast? The sixth sim officially that I've run here. Noodles Hahn up there for Edmonton. I like taking a look at some of these players. There's the guy that huge season he has this year, Wilbur Wood. I've seen him up there consistently. Take a look at batting. Hack Wilson outpacing Babe Ruth for home runs. This is fun. Lajoie up there in the RBI leaders for Chicago. Check that out. overall leaders. Seeing a lot of one-run games, or maybe that's just me. There was a couple seasons ago where I saw a lot of that. It seemed like there was a lot of one-run decisions or extra innings. See, as we get near the All-Star break here, Crystal Lake up there in team batting. Now look at team ERA, Long Island again. If you haven't looked through Long Island's pitching staff, the sad thing about that for many people is they're untouchable. Is the can't trade with them, but they're going to be tough with that pitching staff. In fact, they're 2 points higher there. A lot of saves here by Kern. That's a lot in our league. I mean, I don't know what the most we've ever had. Is it in the 30s? Have we had anybody actually get like a 40 save season? Here we go with the strikeouts. Here's Waddell and Johnson. I think Buckshot was saying he had over 600 one year. Let's take a look at that and see. It's on pace for 400 plus, or 500 plus, I should say. Ray Collins from Manchester leading the way. Let's take a look at batting. Seems like a low batting leader, 322 to me, Tris Speaker. But Ken Williams coming through. Look at these people outpacing Gehrig and Ruth on the home runs. Williams making his way up. The other Ted Williams on OPS. Walter Johnson smoking innings. Him and Smokey Joe Wood are laying down the innings pitched big time. Jim Kern with 26 saves. St. Louis team ERA. Will somebody under 330 win the batting title? That would, to me, that would seem low with the quality of batters we have. I have to look back at the encyclopedia. I don't know what the lowest like batting champion number we've had. Carlos Delgado. I don't know if MV's watching that. I was trying to make a trade for him that MV backed out of. Did me dirty, teased me, and walked away for Delgado. But look, he's up there in the top of the OPS. A-Rod. Oh my God, look at Beantown with Charles Johnson, known for his glove, 30 home runs. That no matter where, look at Ken Williams, well, no matter what Beantown does, they just pound the ball. Oh, wait, stolen bases. Let me see that. Oh, wait a minute. Joe Morgan has over 104 stolen bases. Wow, that is crazy. I see Joe just let me know anybody Joe Murray's made it to safety, trying to get out of the way of that storm. So he just pinged me. That's good to hear, Joe, if you end up watching this broadcast. Any 30 game, well, yeah, Walter Johnson could be a 30 game winner, maybe. Let's see how this goes. Chico's with the new logo this year, if anybody noticed. Addy Joss, his name's coming up there. Okay, say, there's Long Island, Pedro Martinez, Ray Collins, Christy Mathewson, Kevin Brown, a guy traded away. Look at that. I don't see Garrett Cole's name on there. 28. All right, Walter. Can he pitch every 3, 4 days? Let's see if Walter can. Oh, is he going to get in a win? Get close to a 30 game winner. I can't see it. He just lost, I think, if I saw that one flash up. Walter Johnson lost. Interesting. 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 Crystal Lake, so 279 is the highest team batting average. 338 is the lowest ERA. Don't know what that means. Ken Williams and Babe Ruth tie. Hornsby RBIs. Wow. 314 won the batting title. Seems low. I haven't really paid attention to the leaderboards on these, so it's pretty cool. What do we got here? Hey, Vegas wins the money ball. Vegas is now the team to beat. Looks like I got more trading to do to keep up with the big dogs. Get in your manager files. Once I post, I'll probably wait. I don't know if I should post one now because everybody's still trading. I think I've got the trades reflected. I don't know. Um, I know if people aren't going to trade, I guess you could put the file in. I can load it. It means something. But if you're just going to keep trading, putting files in, I can't keep putting out updates. So we'll see how that one goes. Do we see anything different? I don't know. Hagerstown, Manchester up here. Um, San Francisco, St. Louis. Yeah, they're always competing right here. Vegas, the first time I've seen Vegas up at the top, so I don't know what happened. Might have to send action um, to check on that. Something happened there. And this is the computer manager, Bernie. So take note. If you haven't had your team finish first yet, the computer uh, player quality did something for you. If we pull up league team salaries. See if I can blow this one up. Let's see how this compares with, where's my 30-man keepers? Let's come over here and see if I can make a comparison here. Let's take a look at here. What has changed here? St. Louis has reduced their payroll by 4 million due to trading. Lehigh's is exactly the same. Hagerstown the same. Crystal Lake the same. Lancaster the same. God, all of this stuff looks the same, except Florence got better. Vegas got 4 million better. Who else stands out here? 230. San Fran the same. Chico's, they're pretty close. I don't see a lot of change. League salary. So all the trading and commotion that's happened, I don't know that there's any money or payroll that indicates anybody got any value through trading uh, differently. Amazing was at 208. Now they're at 220. So that might be the biggest improvement. As Amazing has increased their payroll 12 million. Long Island, yeah, they're still the same. Interesting. Where's Chicago at? Oh, 203. Chicago was at 210. Now they're at 203. Just leaving it for comparison. This was the team on the right was before trading. This is after. So does this mean anything? I don't know. We'll find out at the end of the season. So any questions anybody's dying to know? So based on this, Vegas team to beat in the money ball. I think San Francisco and St. Louis too close to call. Crystal Lake and Chico should be a dogfight, and Manchester and Hagerstown. So that's my prediction. So if you don't like where you're at, do something to change it. Enough said.